All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99. I am back with another video. All right, y'all, I'm here with another video to brighten a lot of y'all Holly Holmes fans' day, and even some of y'all Holly Holm haters. I know y'all are going to enjoy this news, but yeah, for sure. Y'all know that Holly Holm has a fight coming up this Saturday against Yana Kunitskaya. She's a co-main event, and I myself was thinking that, okay, this might be it for Holly Holm. You know, she might do this fight and maybe one more that leads to the title shot, and then if she's unsuccessful, she's probably going to call it a day, right? That's kind of how I was feeling about it. But nah, man, Holly Holm said, hey, I'm signing a new deal. I'm signing a new deal, not for one fight, not for two fights, not for three, but for six. That's right, 6 fights. Holly Holm just signed another deal with the UFC for 6 fights. That's what was stated by her promoter. He stated that this is the first of 6 fights on her contract. You know, she already fought out the contract that she signed from 2019. If I remember correctly, I don't know if I did the video, but I remember I was gonna do a video giving my thoughts on Holly Holm re-signing back in 2019 as well, because I think that they were in negotiations to sign a 6 fight deal back then. And even back then, I was already like, wow, that's a lot of fights for Holly, you know, especially with the situation that she was in, you know, how many losses she already had and how far she was from the title shot. I was already kind of like I was kind of thinking like back in 2019, that's a steep contract, even back then for her, you know, but especially for now, 2013, a 6 fight deal for Holly Holm now we know that she can retire anytime in between, right? You don't have to go. You don't have to commit to all six fights. But let's say if you semi-retired, you can't go anywhere else, right? You have to come back and finish out that contract, right? That's how Miesha Tate's situation was, if I remember correctly, right? She couldn't fight anywhere else. If you come back, you have to finish out the contract, right? So that's how it probably is for Holly Holm. But you know, my thoughts on the whole thing with Holly signing the 6 fight deal just already kind of had me in a, you know, like situation like, wow, like why would you even do that at this point, right? I know she wants to secure a title shot again, but even then it's like, will it take that many fights? You know, does it have to be that many, or do the UFC just want to lock her in to avoid going anywhere else? Well, according to her promoter, you know, that's what it seems like, because from what he stated in this interview, he was saying that, you know, she's still a sought after fighter. You know, she's still somebody that has a big fan base, you know, over 2 million followers on Instagram. And as soon as her contract was up, he was saying that she's still sought after, I guess, from other organizations like Bellator, PFL, right? Which I'll talk about here in a minute. But, you know, they probably wanted to put her in a situation where, okay, she's 41 years old, but she could leave us at any point, you know, if she just signs like a 2 fight deal and goes somewhere else and get more money, you know. But we're going to try to get as much money off her as we can. So let's go ahead and lock her in for a 6 fight deal, right? So that's probably what it was. But my thoughts on that whole situation, her signing 6 fight, I think is a little too much for her right now. You know, I know that she's still somewhere ranked. I'm not looking at the rankings right now, somewhere like 2 or 3 or 4, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But as far as her skills technically, I still think that she's so far away from being a competitive opponent for somebody like Amanda Nunes. I'm just being honest. You know, I know that fight ended so quick, but even the way Amanda Nunes set it up just showed you how technically better she was in that moment, and how quick Amanda Nunes' reaction time was. And that was like over 2-3 years ago now, right? So looking at Holly Holm and the conditions that she's been in now, and you know, she was out for a long time because she had an illness. You know, it kind of makes me wonder, like, can she really commit to 6 fights, or can she even commit to 4? Right? Because let's be real. Holly Holm versus Yana Kunitskaya, I know people talk about it being like a boring fight, but it could be a dangerous fight for her. It really could, because Holly knows Yana, but Yana knows Holly. And, you know, Yana Kunitskaya hasn't really looked as worn out as Holly Holm, in my opinion. You know, she's been in there with rough fights too, but I think that Holly, you know, she's really, really been in some damaging fights, you know, and I think that physically it's really starting to show on her. It really is starting to show. You know, you just never know, like the knee injuries these fighters face, you know, the overall, you know, the brain, of course, the back and everything. That's the stuff I kind of think about with Holly. Like, on the outside, she looks good. She looks great physically, right? But on the inside, you know how much wear and tear her body's probably had, even the brain, like I was saying, you know, just so much going on in there, right? But yeah, like I said, her promoter, he set it up. He said that she's still sought after, And, they wanted to lock in a deal because, she's still really popular and they care about the fan base. But, hey, in my opinion, I'm like, you could always move that fan base into something else. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't always have to be fighting for Holly, especially in 41 years old. She could still be a part of the UFC, just not fighting anymore, Because if you look at her resume here, she's 14-6, right? I always remember that. But let me go ahead and pull up her 14-6 in the UFC, I believe. Is that correct? Or is that overall MMA? Hold on, let's see. Because the first fight was against Rocky Pennington. I always remember that. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, she's won 7 fights in the UFC and lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so she's 7-6 in the UFC, and everybody she's lost to has been pretty much, some of the elite fighters, right? So every time she stepped it up, she's always came up short. So I know she probably wants to give it one more go, but again, she's 41 years old. I don't really think she's made the necessary changes like some of these other champions, like Amanda Nunes, to get to that point, or even like Irene Aldana. But, we'll see, man. Just looking here, yeah, because she had signed her deal in 2019. And I think that Amanda Nunes fight was a part of that. So she had signed a 1, 2, 3, 4 fight deal at the time. So it was just 4 fights. But now she's actually signing for more at an even older age, which I think is going to be dangerous. So let's say it's going to be Yana Kunitskaya. Who's going to be after that then? Juliana Pena? Now, Juliana Pena doesn't want to fight anybody else. Juliana Pena doesn't want to fight anybody but Amanda Nunes. So I don't think that fight's going to happen. They could now if Juliana Pena sees the money, because it was supposed to happen a little while back, but Holly had to pull out. So maybe if Juliana Pena sees the dollar signs in a Holly Holm fight, she might take it. But if she doesn't, that means Holly Holmes has to fight down. And fighting down it's an even bigger risk for her, right? Because some of these younger fighters, they could give her a run for her money now. Now, I know, again, Holly's improved in her wrestling a little bit here and there, and she's getting, she's still physically strong, but I don't know if she's getting stronger at this point, right? So let me take a look at the rankings here before I get out of here. Let me take a look at the rankings with Holly Holm and see where she can go from here for real, though. Okay, she's still ranked number 3. Ranked number 3. She's already beaten Raquel Pennington, who's above her. She's fought her twice, and that's a fight that people won't want to see, right? They don't want to see that a third time. They don't want to see that a third time. Again, number 1 is Juliana Pena. Juliana Pena, it could happen, but I doubt it. That might be Amanda's next fight. Below her is the fighter that beat her last, right? Ketlin Vieira. Then she already beat Irene Aldana. Yana, okay, they got her listed as Yana Santos now. Okay, Yana Kunitskaya is number 6, and that's who's coming up. So from here, who does she fight to secure that title shot or even fulfill like a 6-fight deal? She's just going to be fighting down from here. And then she's going to become food for some of these other fighters, right? And I don't want to see that with Holly Holm. I like Holly as a fighter. I know a lot of people don't, but I do like her. I've loved her since boxing. I've been watching her since her kickboxing and boxing career, and I always wanted to see her come in and, as a boxing fan, show the MMA fighter up like she did against Ronda, right? But since then, I was just being real. Like, I never really seen her evolve, even in the Valentina fight, Cyborg fight, and so on. Against those elite fighters, she just could never evolve. But, yeah, I don't want to see her become food like that, because then there's Macy Chesson, Mayra Bueno Silva at number 10, Carol Rosa. Those are all fights that she can fight, but are they fights she's going to be guaranteed to win? No. So if she beats Yana Kunitskaya, who's number 6, some of these other fights are just going to be repeats, and I don't really think that's going to build her status up or her brand or even the views of the UFC now, because she's going to be running it back against Rocky, who's the first couple of fights weren't really the best, right? The only doable fight for her, of course, is the rematch with the champion after this fight, and nobody wants to see that. They want to see Nunes fight Aldana or Pena a third time. And again, the other fight that makes sense for Holly would be a Pena fight if they don't want to make the third fight with Nunes Pena. So again, with this 6-fight deal for Holly Holm, the bantamweight division doesn't really look to be in like the best situation. Let's just be honest. Like, even with the signing of her, it doesn't make the division look even better. Now, with the signing of the newer fighters and like adding the Chelsea Chandler in and like Mayra Bueno Silva in the division, Josiane Nunes, yeah, that looks good, because that's where the division has to go. It has to slowly transition back. But re-signing Holly Holm, even though she has a 2.5 million following, it's still not going to do the same thing. I don't believe, because even her hardcore fans, they don't want to see her take this type of punishment. Because, like I said, I'm a Holly Holm fan. I don't want to see her sign 6 more fights. I don't want to see her fight any of these other repeats again, and I don't want to see her get hurt. Now, since she's here, go ahead and, give her this fight against Yana and maybe try to give her 2 more, which includes a title shot, and then I say call it a day. I say call it a day. Now, like I said, they probably did this because they didn't want her to go off to somewhere like PFL. So they tried to make the deal a little bit more sexy for her, lock her in. But PFL, I think they probably could have gave her a lot of money since it's Holly. They probably could have did like even Bellator, because Bellator probably could have did like a Sarah McMahon deal and gave her like this big payout or something, and then maybe lock her in at featherweight, which probably could have worked. Holly could have finished her career at Bellator, fight her last fight with Cyborg, which I doubt she would win, but she'd get banked and fight at a comfortable weight for her, So I don't know. PFL could have paid her out millions because those fighters over there that she could definitely have more of a chance of beating. But here in UFC, she's already been there and done that with so many of these fighters. Like the top 10 is already fighters she's already fought. It's going to be a lot of repeats. And like I said, some fights are going to be fights that she might wind up getting pulled off upset in. Like even a Carol Rosa, you never know what she'll do. Irene Aldana might wind up beating her if they fight again. I don't know. So I don't know, man. I just don't think it's a good idea for her to fight 6 fights or sign a 6-fight deal. At this point, I don't know, what direction she's going or what type of evolution she's gone through. I don't think it could be really anything groundbreaking at this point because, like I said, she's already dealt with injuries. She's already 41. And I'm not trying to just throw that age out there, but I'm just saying, like, because 40, push 40, you still feel young, like I do. But let's be real. She's taking punishment. Like 41 in the fight game, in the combat sports world, it's a different age. It's almost like when you say dog years and human years, right? Depending on how much punishment you've taken in the gym, in sparring, weight cuts, and actual fights, once you tally all that together, that puts a lot of age on your body. I remember somebody telling me, like, some boxers that take a lot of punishment, by the age of like 30 or 40, they have the brain of like a 76-year-old, and that's facts, by like 40 or 39, depending on what type of wars you've been in. Of course, you've been in like big wars and you're that type of punching style. You take punches, you lead with your face, and you want to show off how good your chin is. You wind up having the brain of a 76-year-old, right? I've been told that already. So, yeah, man, I just don't want to see Holly Holm get hurt in this situation. She signed a 6-fight deal. She's got a fight coming up this Saturday. We're definitely going to watch it over here and call it. I hope she can pull it out. So, hopefully, she can get her last chance at the gold that she wants, and that'd be it now. Can't keep going at this point. I mean, maybe it's a drug tour, but I hope she doesn't, get too asphyxiated on it where she doesn't think she can do anything else. Because with the UFC brand behind her, she could do other stuff. Train, commentate. A lot of other stuff. But that's all I got on this one, guys. Let me know what y'all think. Combo Breaker 99, I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.